Hello, everyone, and welcome to Fallen. It's nice to have everyone here, and immediately, I'm already messing up the intro. So, yes, Fallen is a 40K TTRPG show, which is using the Wrath and Glory system, and we are. If you guys, those of you who have known the channel, you know we're not going to use the system that much. Like it's there. We'll roll dice and stuff, but obviously there'll be bits ripped out and everything. And yes, I think first off, seeing as this is the first episode, let's have a little bit of a quick go around and say hello to everyone. We will start off with the most important person, not me, Peachy. And also,
it actually was me.
Yeah.
Not just your ego saying it, Peachy. You actually were.
Wow,
for once.
Again. Oh, I'm getting tired. Sorry. Hello, I'm Peachy. What? The honor of going first means I have no idea what I have to say.
Peachy Pixelate. Oh wait,
Peachy
Peachy Pixelate.
Buy my merch.
Yo, buy his merch.
Really
buy
like
his merch.
Food. I really like to eat food, so buy merch. No, I'm Peachy Pixelate. I like Warhammer. I like painting Warhammer. And I now get to be a brother, which is gonna be a lot of fun. Not a Hulk Hogan brother.
And
Not
I don't
Hulk
know. I don't know how that you're gonna avoid that. It's gonna happen.
and if you check the description of both the video and the stream, you will see a link to Peachy's Twitch channel, where he does gaming. You'll also see a link to his YouTube channel, where you might see things.
I also got loads of painting on Instagram, which is Peachy Pixelate Twitch. If you like Warhammer, I don't know why anyone
Why would anyone
here
like
would like
Warhammer?
Warhammer. I don't know about that.
Let's move around clockwise, which takes us to Goobers 515, and also, we haven't introduced characters yet, so it's just Goobers for now. Go.
Hello, I'm Goobers515. I also do things online, including talk about Warhammer 40K for hours at a time. And whenever I start on it, my chat has a panic attack, assuming that it's going to be the rest of the stream. I'll paint minis on a very rare occasion, but my knowledge of 40K mostly comes from 30K and the Horus Heresy series. I am almost done reading the entire thing. It's been a several year journey. Oh, also I have crippling ADHD, so everything is audio based. So I listen to all of the books. So it's been many years of me doing that. And yeah, that's where a lot of my knowledge comes from. I'm really excited. I've always wanted to play a Warhammer 40K TTRPG, and I think this is, as you can tell, we are the spitting image of 5 dudes who like Warhammer, so I think we picked a good crew here.
Okay. Moving on to Zacotocus. Hello, sir.
Hi everyone, I'm Zgodicus. I like to do lots of the role-playing stuff. I've been doing it for many years, but this is my first Warhammer roleplay. My experience with Warhammer is fairly limited. I was introduced to Warhammer and RP through the Dark Heresy roleplay series via late Total Biscuit, and a lot of my knowledge comes from the awesome contributions of people who contribute to wikis on the internet, so thank you very much. If you're the kind of person that does that, you are the savior of mankind. And yeah, I'm looking forward to exploring the galaxy.
Okay. Oh yeah. And finally, we come to Rod. Rod, would you like to say things?
Yes, I'm Rod. I send shit into space in real time, but I also create a bunch of content. I stream random shit, and I talk about horror movies. I have a horror movie podcast also, so I'm all over the fucking place. So
that's nice. And everyone who you just heard from is in the description, so just click on that description. You'll see their Twitches or Twitters or things, and you can go and look at them and see them outside of TTRPGs if you like.
While they're down there hitting like, subscribe, and the bell icon.
Yes. Like, don't forget to like the stream. Don't forget to, leave comments and subscribe and all of that jazz. But the most important thing, go and check out the website. It has a lot of cool stuff on it. It has all of our shows. And also, go and check out the Patreon, where you can support the shows. Essentially, we pay the cost here, and the more support we have on the Patreon, the more shows I will be able to do, because I don't particularly want to be paying out of my... I was going to say something else, but I'll say paying out my ear. But yes, we currently...
Out of pocket.
You could say out of pocket.
That's a private joke for no one else but me
Yeah.
and Sheepy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, that's not true. I did tweet it, and people replied, and people agreed
were
with me.
wrong!
No, people agreed with me.
It doesn't mean that.
It does. But yes, essentially, we currently have the Monday show, so this show here is covered by the Patreon, so all of your contributions go directly to paying these wonderful people, and also, a little bit extra, if there is any, goes to currently, like, assets and production stuff. For all of those of you who've been patrons for a little while, you helped pay for the extortionate Alien show, which was like double the usual show in costs, but so worth it.
This is like where we keep the budget down so we can do more aliens.
Yes, I do want to do more shows like that, but
Oh, I didn't realize this is the budget show. Holy shit.
He asked for 5 generic white guys, and he got
So
it.
it's
I don't have to pay them as much.
What? You said it's only 13 cents a show? Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Wait, you're getting paid for this?
But yes, aside from that, the website, you can find all the other shows. Also, you have the YouTube channel. Like, all the shows are on there, basically. So feel free to go have a look. If I may suggest, there is a very cool Alien, set in the Aliens universe, show that just finished recently. Got 12 episodes of pure goodness, and some of the people here may have been on it even. It's the Zacodicus and people.
Was I? Holy fuck, where was I? Oh my god, what?
Black out again, Goobers.
It's like 11 in the morning for me right now. I must be drunk as shit. What the fuck?
Goobers was actually in every single episode as like a guy stuck to a wall. He just didn't have any lines. Yeah.
Find me. Like,
It was in the credits. If you look carefully, it said "guy stuck to wall 1 through 12."
Yeah.
His line,
misspelled. It's drunk guy stuck to wall.
He did method
line-
as well. He used sellotape to stick it
Yeah.
together.
he had one line every show, and it was "kill me."
Yeah, right.
That would be funny if we just had one person in the Zoom call who just never got on screen ever. They would just like stuck themselves to the wall or something for like effect.
Oh my god.
So, unless I've forgotten it. Oh wait, did I forget? No, someone reminded me to say Patreon and website, but I've done that. There is also Twitter and other things. Oh yes, there is one thing. If you want, YouTube does have a super chat thing. I'm not encouraging you to use it, but if you do use it, feel free to throw a little money the way of the thing if you don't want to do like monthly subscription, Patreon stuff, etc. And feel free to ask a question of the cast or me in regards to this show or other shows at the end of the show today. If there are any, which I doubt there will be, but if there are any, I'll address them and we'll bring them out and talk about them. So, you could say like, Goobers, why do you only read 30k? Do you not know that 40k is awesome too? And then he has
My response would be like, mind your fucking business, all right?
No, you're contractually obligated to answer donation questions.
Oh shit. Okay. All right. Sorry. I don't know. Too much pressure. Next question. Next donation.
Sheepy, I see it. I see in chat that someone's asking to turn up Psychoticus a little bit. So.
I might be able to turn.
Okay. I was just asking,
Yes.
relaying it.
Trying to find is the super chat. I'm trying to figure that out where the button is to do that.
It's just below the chat, there's like a dollar sign on a bill. And you can like,
bill, if you will.
yeah, click that. And
Oh, that rhymes, and I don't like it.
And it goes directly into Sheepy's G-string he's wearing right now.
it's true.
It's not that kind of stream, Rob. Is it?
I mean, it's below the camera, so it's okay, right?
Damn it, I don't have my credit card on me. Fuck. All right, never mind. Shit.
There doesn't seem to be a way I can boost Zacodicus, so Zacodicus, if you can like just knock yourself up a bit.
I'm doing a few things.
You
You
just-
with me?
You just eat your mic a little bit more there, bud.
Just get right on it.
Brother.
This is okay.
No.
We're about to start. I need to. Can all of you keep your Hogan in check while we?
Oh my god, I love that's the new saying. The Fallen, keep your Hogan in check.
Yeah, that's the tagline.
I am a real American.
Oh my god.
Okay. So, with all of that said, and obviously, again, as I said, go check out everyone's links and go check them out on Twitch and Twitter, etc. Give them a follow, all those kind of things. But is everyone ready to delve into a universe of just everyone being horrible people and, you know, everything being terrible and all that type
The
of
grim dark of the far future.
grimdark?
I thought you meant YouTube comments.
that too.
Oh my god, is that 40k? Just YouTube comments come to life? Holy fuck. The Emperor is just a moderator?
Well, so it's
That's the warp. The YouTube
Ah,
comments is
yeah.
you know how if you had an infinite number of monkeys on typewriters, they'd come up with Shakespeare, like the entire works of Shakespeare. The entire internet typing on keyboards has come up with 40k basically. That's how it works.
Yep. The Amasek is ready. You're not already drinking? Fucking chop chop.
Okay, so
Absolutely, Lima. Hogan would 100% be an Imperial Fist. Hogan is just an alter ego to Rogaldorn.
all right.
This is a grimdark show, by the way.
Sorry, but
Hey, I mean, you know, like we if you can't laugh and have fun, then it's just
Yeah.
what it is you wake up with ultra depression, which is
play an Ultramarine, get Ultra Depression.
Yeah.
Let's fucking go.
Gilliman wakes up, he's like, boy, aren't I dead?
Oh my god.
Okay. So, in the universe of Warhammer 40,000, the entirety of humanity is essentially under siege by aliens, by traitors, chaos, heretics, and one of the bastions protecting humanity is the Space Marines, otherwise known as the Adeptus Astartes. The Adeptus Astartes are transhuman demigods who have been altered and adjusted to the point where they are worth an entire platoon of men. They have the ability, in their small numbers, to completely change the face of a battlefield from a horrific massacre to another horrific massacre, just in the opposite direction. And we are joining a chapter, a successor chapter to the Dark Angels, who are called the Fidelis Angelus. They are, much like the Dark Angels, subject to the history of what has happened in the past. In the past, the Dark Angels had the right word would be hiccup in their loyalty. They left to defend their Terra, to defend their Emperor, to defend the Imperium, and when they got back, they found that the ones they left behind had betrayed them. They opened fire on them, and their home world, their recruitment world, was destroyed. They lost their Primarch, Lionel Johnson, who was mortally wounded by his best friend and lieutenant, Luthor. After the Horus Heresy, once all of the traitor Space Marines had been flung back into the Eye of Terror or disappeared into the far reaches of the galaxy, the legions of Space Marines were changed into chapters. And thus, as time has gone on, the successor chapters have come to fruition. The Fidelis Angelus are one of those successor chapters. Originally from the Dark Angels, they share the Dark Angel gene seed. They share many of the same rites and rituals. The Fidelis Angelus occupy the system of Terraphus's Reach and recruit from the worlds of Terraphus 1, 2, and 4. Now, these worlds are not aware of their existence. They have secret cadres of believers on the planet who serve them and are aware of them and help them. The initiates, the aspirants to becoming an Astartes of the Fidelis Angelus Chapter are picked from the planets, inducted, and then sent on trials. The trials consisting of being sent back down to the planet, given an objective anywhere from the range of put this person in power or create this war. It's very subversive, very testing not only of might and of valor in battle, but also of the ability to think tactically, to a certain degree manipulate. The chapter itself resides on a fortress monastery in the system, a little ways away from the planets. It is a very large space station that looks like a big cathedral, basically a Gothic cathedral. It is a fortress, and it is to this fortress we go. As you see the spires and the guns on the side of it, the camera moves forward and moves through the walls into a chamber. In this chamber is a big metal container in the shape of essentially almost like a metal statue, almost like an Iron Maiden looking type thing, and inside it is restrained an Astartes, who is being forced over and over to watch the failures of the chapter, the times where their brothers were killed, where there were many losses, and where mistakes were made that led to the loss of the gene seed or the loss of a brother. Apothecary Maraban Silas.
What? Okay.
You are currently seeing a desperate defense of a ridge on a world you're not even sure where the world is. And the Tyranids, in this case, are sending wave upon wave of small little skitterers and larger, beefy warriors, and even carnifexes and lictors are getting involved. And you are slowly seeing, one by one, the Astartes of your chapter being taken out, being taken down. Now, they can kill 10, they can kill 20, they can kill 100 each. It doesn't make much of a difference, as another wave will come, and they slowly run out of ammunition, they slowly are pulling back away from the battle. And it puts you in mind of what brought you here. Which was,
The loss of the gene seed.
yes.
I have let my brothers down. I have let the Emperor down. And I must relive it over and over again. I deserve this pain. I deserve this agony.
And you've been in this penance box for around about a month.
What the fuck? Jesus.
I deserve it more. I deserve to be here forever for letting the gene seed escape. I wasted my energy. I wasted my goal protecting the gene seed on the worthless, the humans, those below me, those below the gene seed. And yet, I failed. And now, I am stuck here for all eternity, it feels like.
And as the scene shifts from the Tyranids to orcs, the attempt to protect a important hive city from orcs, where the orcs, again, relentless, just keep coming. You are reminded of, again, of what happened for you, where in the midst of battle, in the heat of battle, some civilians fleeing the oncoming horde were moving in front of the line of fire. You requested a cessation of artillery fire, a cessation of fire to let them through, which was granted by the local forces. Unfortunately, while it did save the civilians and they got safely through the battle lines, it meant that the next wave of enemy that came through started to overrun the area, and you were all forced to retreat without being able to recover the gene seed, which was your task.
My failure, it echoes in all of time. It echoes for my chapter. It echoes for my brothers. I cannot. It haunts my mind over and over again, letting those humans go by, not murdering them to destroy those orcs, to kill all, to save that gene seed.
And, could we take it as read that the month-long, essentially, let's call it a conveyor belt of imagery is affecting Maraban a little bit?
Yeah. So I see it as that he was kind of he was more pro his choice when he started, right? He
Yeah.
thought it was the good idea, but just watching it over and over, just having it replay all these events, it just twisted him to like how he just all he thinks of is failure now, and how he let his brothers down, how he let the emperor down, how he let everyone down to save these puny humans that they're civilians, but they don't matter. They're not the demigods that us space marines are, and they're below us.
And the camera fades away from Maraban and over and in to a antechamber where we see Varak, how about you describe as much as you would like to of yourself?
Tall, obviously. Not as stocky as maybe an Astartes who carries heavy weapons or something. But not thin. Pretty grizzled. Definitely has got some years on him. With a couple of service studs just above his eyebrow. 3 service studs.
Yes.
What color? The silver, gold?
Gold.
Oh no, it's
What? No, it's silver, is it?
no. I think it's
Silver.
4.
It's 4 silver, my bad.
How
Yeah,
old is this dude?
Pretty old.
And I'm currently my gauntlet took some damage, so I'm eyeing it surreptitiously. Not impressed, but I'm probably gonna need to take it to an artificer to get it repaired.
Yeah. And as you have been waiting, a hooded figure shuffles out of the doors and turns to you with their head bowed and says, "The Grand Master will see you now, Lord."
I bow my head a little and walk through the doors.
You walk through the doors into a very impressive chamber. This is the chamber of the Grand Master of the Fidelis Angelus, essentially the chapter master. He is in charge of the chapter. He makes the decisions and is the final arbiter of essentially everything.
Have I been in this room alone before?
I don't think you've been in the room alone, no. In general, it's only used for official business with the Grandmaster. And the Grandmaster is Grandmaster Apophist Corn. Caurn, not Corn, the other Corn.
I would hope not.
I immediately kill him. No.
Good luck.
Yeah.
You should say I immediately tried
I
to
have a
kill
go.
him.
I have a
right.
But the Grandmaster rises from his seat and says, "Brother Tychor."
I take a knee to show respect and look up. Chapter Master.
Please rise. We have a matter to discuss. Come and take a seat. And he sits back down. He indicates one of the kind of very ornate thrones in front of him.
I normally prefer to stand, but the chapter master is essentially giving me an order, so I will sit.
How are you finding it in Fourth Company?
Well, since in the effort to rebuild, it has been fulfilling.
Indeed. I have a mission for you.
For me?
Yes. It is a mission only that can be asked of someone who is within the inner circle of the chapter.
Realization sort of dawns on my face.
It will require a longer period away than might be normal. It depends how long it takes to complete the mission. But we have had word of some inquisitorial agents who are tracking a certain erstwhile member of our founding legion.
I badly hide the scowl that appears on my face when he mentions the Inquisition, but I nod.
We are hoping that it is just a rumor. However, if it happens to be true, I think you realize that we must take steps to not only suppress this information, but to retrieve their target.
Of course.
My thought is as you are aware, we have a couple of spaces currently in the company for the rank of captain.
I don't even twitch at the mention, but inside, I do.
Yeah, this giant space marine inside, like.
It comes to my mind that anyone able to fulfill this task would be more than qualified for such a role.
With what resources would I be able to undertake this mission?
As you know, 4th Company is currently in the process of being rebuilt. Therefore, we will be taking members from slightly decimated squads and forming a new squad with which you will be able to command and operate.
I'm honored, Lord.
I will be providing you with a squad, full squad, along with a chaplain in training.
I smirk because I'm pretty sure I know who he means.
We will also be providing you with a strike cruiser. As you know, these are usually used for slightly larger deployments. However, mobility and speed is of the essence.
Strike cruiser. How much credence are we putting to this inquisitorial rumor?
Even if there was only a tiny chance of it being true, we still must follow through and investigate it to full.
Of course.
You will be required to travel through the systems in the area, lending aid when required to Imperial forces that are currently engaged in battle, so as to make it look like a full company is assisting in the area.
But I will not be with a contingent of a full company.
You will have 10 men.
Aboard a strike cruiser, Lord?
Indeed.
I see.
Once we have received confirmation of our suspicions, we will relay to you the location and you will break off whatever you are doing, regardless of what it is, and you will execute the mission.
I will.
I do believe that the interrogator chaplain has a few extra details, but he will leave those with his acolyte.
Nephia,
Yes.
he's a good man. I will require an apothecary.
One is being retrieved for you.
And with regards to the strike cruiser, a shipmaster. Human or Astartes?
Human.
I see. The shipmaster will obviously be in the know of how many Astartes are aboard this ship.
She will.
Stand corrected. The shipmistress knows of our arrangement.
She does. She is proven loyal on multiple occasions. And beholden to the chapter.
I will trust your judgment.
In this instance, Sergeant, consider the mission top priority.
I understand.
I would not say that our brothers are expendable, however, if a choice has to be made,
A secret must be kept.
the Inquisition dislike secrets when they do not know them and when they are not theirs. However, some secrets are kept for a reason.
Do we have information on the Inquisitor?
Not yet, but we will get it.
It will be important. Lord, this is a great honor. I thank you.
Your warriors will be mustering soon. If you wish to address them or inspect them, they will be available to you.
I will.
Is there anything else you need?
I immediately stand to attention.
And he stands.
No, sir.
Then be about your work.
I leave. Well, I give the sign of the Aquila and then I leave.
As you walk out through the doors, there are two nondescript, cowled servants or serfs, possibly. You're not sure who they are, and I don't think any of the Astartes know their names. Most likely, unless they directly work for them. They bow deeply as you move past, and then as you stomp down the hallway, they move in, the doors close.
I don't even acknowledge their existence. What I needed is done.
And the camera shifts away from your walk and moves into a chamber. The chamber is dark, with candles lighting a figure knelt in front of a statue. serfs, servants stand around the edges, just out of the light, giving a darker shadow added on to the darkness all in the room. And plume of smoke can be seen coming from these sensor kind of metal sensor bowls, lamps that are on the end of chains. Chaplain Nephil, you are at rest in meditation and thought. So, what is in the mind of the chaplain?
I am very aware of the great task I have been honored with. This is an opportunity for me to take a step towards what I believe to be my true place in our great legacy.
And as you are reflecting upon your purpose and upon the great luck you had to be singled out as a protege of the interrogator chaplain, interrogator chaplain Cadmiel himself, you hear by your shoulder, Brother Pius. As interrogator chaplain Cadmiel appears to be by your side. The chamber has been completely quiet the entire time. Not even a clink of chain from the servants. Yet he appears to have managed to get within about a foot of you without you noticing his presence.
I take just a silent moment. The Emperor protects. I get to my feet, and I turn to Chaplain Cadmiel.
The Emperor protects. We have work to do this day. I require that you attend me.
Of course. I'm ready.
As he turns, he waves his hand vaguely in the direction of the servants and says, "Scrub this room down," and strides out of the room. As you hear the kind of like clanking of chains as the servants move, and the room starts to be cleaned. Tell me, brother, have you had much experience with apothecaries?
I've been fortunate. I've not had much need to interact with apothecaries.
We go now to visit one of our apothecaries who is undergoing penance.
Do we go to bring him comfort, or to see that he has learned his lesson?
If he has learned his lesson, he will be comforted.
I continue to learn from you.
You have done well learning from me. I am in mind that the time may be coming where you would be able to take up the mantle yourself, adorn yourself with the skull helm and with the croziers.
You honor me with your words, Chaplain Cadmiel. I thank you. I believe I am ready.
We shall see. Remember, Brother Nephir, we are the arbiters of guilt, and we are the custodians of death, and we deal it, or withhold it, in the name of the chapter, the Imperium, and the Emperor.
I live by these words, Chaplain Cadmiel.
As do we all. And he opens up a room and leads you into this completely dark, aside from one point of light that shines down on a penance box. Penance box is essentially a device used for punishment. The transgression can be as simple as not following an order quick enough or failing an order, or in this case, it is an apothecary failing to recover gene seed. Slightly more serious, just purely because the gene seed is precious. It is how you make more Astartes. And Apothecary Silas. The sound of battle, the images of your fellow brothers dying and being overrun and losing, the shames of the chapter, the screens go blank. And there is a quiet hiss as the doors, the chamber opens, and you see standing before you the interrogator chaplain Cadmiel and a brother Astartes you don't think you know.
Silas kind of falls over to one knee, and it's just from the eternity it feels like he's been in this box, and he closes his eyes. And would he refer to the chaplain as just chaplain, or would it be because he knows it's a chaplain, right? I mean, obviously, so it's
I'd say chaplain Cadmiel probably would be or chaplain.
okay. So he goes down on one knee just to kind of like, because he's weak, and a lot of it's mental weakness at this point, and he goes and closes his eyes, because I assume the eyes have been like forced to be open for this whole time, right?
Yeah.
So closes his eyes because they just hurt from and dry for being open for that long, and goes down to his knees and closes his eyes and goes, "Chaplain."
Apothecary. We have ended your penance early, as your services will be needed.
What has brought this great honor on such a failure as myself?
An apothecary is required for Fourth Company. They're going on a special mission, and it will be long, and likely losses will be incurred.
I am honored to have this task brought upon me.
I suspect that you will be all the more vigilant to retrieve any gene seed needed to be retrieved.
I will not fail the Emperor again. No gene seed will escape. I have learned, Chaplain. I have learned that my failure cannot be repeated.
This is good. Very well. Attend me. I must
Get up.
go and speak to the Grand Master.
So I stand up and I kind of stumble a little bit. I feel super weak still from that entire time and go, full, attention.
So you are currently essentially lightly clad at best.
Yeah.
So you've got the ports are all showing and everything along those lines. As you walk through the corridors, you see servants going past, an occasional Astartes dressed in robes, and you finally reach a antechamber where there's a couple of servants outside who are already bowing almost as soon as you turn the corner. The doors open, and as they do, the interrogator chaplain says, "Both of you wait here. I will return momentarily." And he steps through. You both see the Grand Master through the doors as they open, and then they close, and you are both left with a couple of servants on the doors, and essentially just both of yourselves in the antechamber.
Did you find your penance?
I have been over these events over and over again. This mistake will not be made again. I will not disgrace my brothers.
Know thy duty, and discharge it above all else.
Yes. I will accomplish any mission that I am given without failure.
For the Emperor.
For the Emperor.
Very good.
Question.
Yes.
I am assuming that both of you do not, with the apothecary just getting out of the penance box and the chaplain, I would imagine it's not the best first meeting for if the first time for the chaplain to meet you as you're coming out of a penance box for basically a failure, really.
What's up? I'm here for the job interview. Sorry, I gotta show my penance machine.
I just assume that there's after 30 days of all that or whatever, it's a very it just, I feel like I've woken up from a really horrible nightmare, and there's not much of a, it's still coming back to the ground, being grounded and realizing everything that's going on. And he's probably just obviously this other chaplain, Cadmiel, was the important one in the situation, or the more important one. So he's just kind of going over what he's been told, and just kind of thinking that, yes, this is my chance. I get to redeem myself.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's the physical burden isn't too much. As an Astartes, you can deal with a month in a box reasonably easily.
Yeah.
It would more be the strain of having to repeatedly see your chapter brothers dying in battle, seeing the failures of the chapter is not fun for anyone. It's just a constant reminder of, you know, stains on the battle record of times where things have gone badly, whether through failure, mistakes, or just situation.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a bit of a strain mentally, definitely.
Yeah. Just watching your greatest mistake over and over and over and over for that long, it's just like makes you break a little bit. I assume even someone as tough as this, you know. Yeah.
And I mean, you know, every time you see another one of the chapter's failures, it just reminds you of yours. So it's like, try not to think about a pink elephant when all that's happening is people are throwing pink elephants at you.
Yeah.
Okay. In that case, again, the camera will fade away from both of you in the antechamber, waiting for the interrogator chaplain to come back. And now, we will be joining an already in progress fight as two Astartes who are like essentially stripped down their tops and in very basic kind of like short, kind of almost like shorts, I guess, like a bit tattered and that. Just and as the camera swings in, there's a few Astartes in robes around the outside of this kind of circular, almost like sand arena area. You know, it's got flagstones and so forth. It's got a few of those like wooden poles which people hit for some reason. And as the camera swings in, Morrican, your brother, swings his fist around with his knife, and it connects with the side of your guard as he jumps backwards again and crouches in a stance.
Just like so he stabbed me, or like the knife like
the knife hit like there, yeah. So you kind of lifted your arm to block it.
Get them. Backing away so fast? Really? Come on! God, you've been a coward ever since we were kids. Fight me! Morcon's just like, come on! And he's got his knife. In fact, he's got his knife. He's squeezing it so hard, you see the knife like bend a little. Like it just kind of like, because he just kind of goes, and just crushes the handle.
Yeah.
And he's just like, so he's just like, come on, fight me! And Morkiel, I'm guessing, says nothing.
Morkiel kind of hops back a couple of steps and crouches a little bit lower and says, "Careful, brother. I don't want to blood you too soon."
Morgan's just like, oh, fuck you! And just dives forward and just fucking goes as fast as he can. It's not thought out. He's not thinking about his punches. A lot of them are the same things back and forth, but it's just relentless force that doesn't stop over and over and over and over. He's got a knife. He's not using it. In fact, he even throws some punches with the hand he's got the knife in, but the knife is standing outside and he's just punching him with the knife on the side because he's just too concerned about punching him.
Okay. Let us... I believe it is here. Yeah. So, we will have a roll to see how this... Yeah, I know a roll. It's...
roll! The first roll!
So if I could, I would ask you to roll your weapon skill.
Okay, I gotta find that.
So it will be in skills. On
weapons. Oh, skills. There we go. And then weapon skill. Okay, ready? Or do I just like as the values as they are? No.
So I'm going to leave this to you as to whether you think his more enthusiastic rage is a detriment or a bonus against his twin. If it helps you, my leaning is towards detriment, just purely because it seemed like Morakil was like baiting him into getting pissed, and he was ready for it. But
yeah, I'm gonna say detriment. I mean, I feel like, yeah, I would say detriment. Yeah, he's just blind rage. Just don't punch me and jump away, you little bitch. Fight me, you know.
In that case, I will say a -1 on the bonus die.
Okay, -1. There we go. All right.
All right. So
did I roll a 6?
You rolled 2 6s. So,
let's go.
The way that Wrath and Glory works is you get a number of dice, a number of d6s based on your attributes and your skills.
Okay.
In this case, you have 9 for your weapon skill test. A roll will have a difficulty. So if it's something reasonably easy, you might have like a 3 difficulty. In that case, you need to roll a certain number of icons.
Okay.
Icons are 4 to 6 as a general rule, and 6s are double. So 4 and 5 give you 1 icon, 6s give you 2 icons.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So you rolled enough for 6 icons.
Wait, so 6s give you double? Because I rolled a 6,
Yeah,
a 4,
I'm
a
not
5,
100%
a 6, a 5, and a 4. So that would be, if it doubled, it'd actually be an 8.
It should be an 8,
God,
yeah.
I rolled like a fucking monster there.
You rolled really well.
Damn. Blind rage fuels me.
But we should probably see how Morakil does as well.
Oh shit. All right.
4. Okay. So as you jump in, and you start raining down blows, to begin with, Morakil is very frustratingly kind of like dampening the hits. It's not blocking, it's softening your blows, which obviously frustrates you because you want to feel that meaty like slam of contact, of battle. And it's something that has frustrated you for a long time about Morakil, is that he doesn't approach it quite as head-on as you do. However, as he's moving and as you are thundering blows down on him, you see a twitch of his foot, which implies not that he's off balance or anything, just that he misplaced his foot. Enough for you to sweep his leg, because he is not on a stance that grounds him, that keeps him solid. So as you rain down a blow, the second that he starts to soften it, you also swing a kick at his leg and sweep his leg out from under him, causing him to go almost horizontal in the air.
Oh, fucking.
And then you bring down your fist, like not even a punch, just like a hammer. You bring down your fist on the side of his shoulder, and he goes slamming into the stone, and the stone cracks. Like there's a loud crack across the arena as he just slams into it, and you know there's like a kind of spurt of blood as he coughs up some blood, and it splatters across the stones. There is a little murmur from the sides, and one of the Astartes present looks over to another one and says, "That is interesting. Usually Morakil manages to get some good hits in before Morakan loses his mind."
Like, I told you I was born first. Get up. And I help pick my brother up, and I'm just like, I slap him in the face a little bit. It's like, come on. That was good, wasn't it?
And Morakil like stands up and spits some blood. It just goes splattering across the stones, and then he like takes his left arm with his right hand and says, "Brother, hold my hand," and like holds his left hand out to you.
And I'm like, what? What's wrong? You're fine. Come on.
And he grasps your hand with his left hand and just pushes into you. And you hear this like snap of bone as he like puts his.
Fuck! He relocated his shoulder. Like, he popped his shoulder back in. It's like, well, I didn't mean to hit you that hard, but good, you're getting better at that.
And then he
That was
just
a good fight.
he just wheels his shoulder around a little bit and says, "You should learn to pull your punches a little in training."
Why would we be training? What's the point of training if there isn't a little bit of raw excitement, you know? This is what we're here for. We're tools of the Emperor. We've got to be good at what we do. And God knows we haven't had a lot of fighting recently, so, you know, listen, we're made of the same stuff. I know what you can handle. I wouldn't go that far, okay? Sir! Where's my servitor? And I'm just like calling for a servitor for like a towel.
Yeah.
Just like, my brother needs a towel. Let's go!
And as a servitor, like, just kind of walks up, bearing kind of like warmed, scented towels, Morakil says, "Well, maybe next time, instead of just slicing, I will put my entire knife through your abdominals. How about that?"
Well, if you could make it through my bone plate, I absolutely welcome the chance. And he grabs the towel, doesn't even look at the servitor. He grabs the towel, and when he brings it around, like he grabs the towel from the servitor's left side, he would be in front of the servitor on its left side, but he kind of reaches back like this and takes the towel back and absolutely just like punches this thing in the head as he brings the towel up, just grabs it, and then he's like, "Here's your towel, brother. I fetched it myself."
And as you like swing it round, Morakil like puts his hand up, and it rings around his hand, and he grabs it like that, and just like pulls it a bit taut, so you're both holding it, both kind of like pulling on it.
I thought we were done with the sparring, brother. Listen, I was born first. Okay, we know this.
We know this, but you brought me the towel, so you should let go first.
Fine. There, have your towel. I still won this. I still won the good training.
And he swings it around his shoulders and says, and as he like walks away out of the arena, you hear him say, "I always win in the end."
And Markot's just like, oh, shut up! Like, he has nothing witty to say. It's just, bleh! That's all he's got, you know. And then, are the other Astartes like looking at him at all?
Yeah.
So he immediately hears his brother say that, Morakil say that, and he's like, "Oh, shut up! You don't know." And then he turns over to the other two. He goes, "What in Emperor's name are you two looking at? Get in here or get lost!"
We are waiting for our orders, Morakan.
So are we all. Speaking of which, when are we gonna do anything? I've been training forever. I actually need a fight. When do we get to kill something? Come on.
The servitor, kind of like gets back up. It had been knocked over, but no one really noticed, and starts to kind of back. Off to the side, there is a there is a servitor that is kind of like semi-attached to the wall. It's just a torso, and it kind of like goes out into like an almost like a metal stand on the edge of the wall. Of this kind of, this place is quite open and it's got very high ceiling. It's the closest place in the fortress monastery that can really be classified. It feels a bit more like being outside. It's the only place that really feels like being outside. The rest of the fortress monastery feels very claustrophobic and enclosed.
Yeah,
for the most
small,
part.
narrow, confined, especially for a space marine, I would imagine.
However, a couple of the servitors who are kind of like attached to the wall, this kind of slight feedback noise kind of comes from them. You're used to this. As a sidebar, this does project over a few different sections of the fortress monastery. I don't think Nephir or Maraban you would hear this, but Varak, as you're headed towards the arena area anyway, it probably echoes through the hallways, which is Could all members of 4th Company who have been reassigned to Squad Varak please report to the sparring arena for inspection?
Morkan immediately is like, inspection? And he's like almost naked.
Yeah.
Like, whoa! He just runs after his brother and he's like, brother, go! They're coming for inspection.
We have some time until we need to be present.
Oh.
It is not a rush.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll follow you.
Also, we will be meeting our new sergeant. I would ask that you do not immediately make him want to kill you.
I'll do my best, brother. Absolutely. Do you know anything about him? I've not heard a single thing about our new sergeant.
I have heard he does not suffer fools lightly. It is possible.
So you're gonna have a really hard time getting. I'll take care of you. Don't worry.
I appreciate your thought.
Okay.
I just wish you could manage to have more than one in a row.
I mean, listen, I'm trying, but punching, it fills up a lot of my brain.
It's also the reason a lot of it is missing.
Listen, just because I decided that a bolt round couldn't kill me, and I was right, by the way, doesn't mean that I'm dumber for it, okay? I thought my skull was a little tougher than it was, and now we know, all right?
He taps like the side of your temple where there's this like circular scar kind of around there or so.
Oh, there's totally a metal plate. It goes like ding ding.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Don't do that, brother. Come on. Listen, we have to focus. Come on, let's go get ready.
I wonder if one day you'll find those middle gears again.
As they're muttering and leaving,
Yeah.
I'm going to remove my hood from the corner of the sparring room where I've been watching.
Oh, fuck. Oh, shit.
Who's here? I need to know if anyone will recognize you. Because you're not wearing any insignia, right? So
No, I would have put on my battle plate to go see the chapter master, but then I would have dressed down. And I hear there was a sparring competition going on. I've just been sat in the corner watching some training.
You would have been given a data slate detailing your squad.
Right.
So depending on whether you would have like researched them, like looked into it or not.
Yeah. I was probably here to see, because I've heard tales of Morrigan.
Okay. So if you have indeed investigated your, sorry, I'm just seeing as they're not having a brotherly spat anymore, we can we can chill a little bit with the fighty music. Seeing as
I've been giving a whole new squad, I'm very interested to who each of my brothers are.
Okay. In that case, the ones who were sparring are a set of twins, which Space Marines look very similar in general. These two look pretty much identical, aside from the one of them has a metal plate in his head. But aside from that.
Question, is his brother also on the data slate?
Yes. They are fourth company through and through. Ever since their initiation, they have been fourth company. And even though there are quite a few disciplinary notes, Morakan and Morakil tend to get into trouble at the same time. The notes of their former sergeant says essentially, Morakan causes the trouble, Morakil tries to minimize it. But essentially that just combines into making it not as bad as it could be, but enough for both of them to be punished. They've both spent a couple of times in the penance box. However,
I assume they have chapter honors.
Yeah.
And that's why they've been assigned.
Yes. And both of them are reasonably, reasonably young for the Astartes. I believe
They're like 120, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not super young, but still.
Space Marine young.
Yeah, Space Marine young.
But not as young as the chaplain?
No. Both the chaplain and the apothecary you've been assigned are around about 75 years. Not just in service, in total.
Right. Thank you.
Also, quick question. So the background of the Redoubt, were we one of the 9? I don't actually know. Morakil and Morkan. Were we one of the 9, or is that after that?
That was after that, yeah.
Okay. I'm just understanding timelines.
Yeah. Additionally to that, you've been assigned a veteran scout sergeant, Cassian Enkadil. Usually the scouts operate alongside a company or in assistance of a company. You don't usually just get assigned one. However, you are aware that Cassian is a member of the Inner Circle and would essentially be assigned for tracking and more subterfuge stealth type reasons. He actually had a hand in training the majority of the Marines under your command.
Oh, right. He's been serving in 10th for a while, right?
Yes, he's a stalwart 10th. Didn't even leave the scouts once he had the chance.
Until ordered to. Okay.
Well, no, he's still in the scouts. Yeah.
Oh, he's just been attached to us.
Yeah, he's attached to the squad. He's still 10th company.
Right.
And you've also been assigned Tech Marine, Tech Marine Datian. I don't think you've worked with him before, but... and then you have... one of the things about the twins, they both are heavy weapons designated. The way it is posed is Morakan deals with the kind of the grunts, the infantry. Morakil deals with any vehicles or more heavy armor.
Right.
They complement each other reasonably well in battle, as on the notes.
That's the point. What hardware have I been assigned? Like rhinos? Or...
You have the aforementioned strike cruiser.
Yeah.
The strike cruiser is equipped with decent weaponry. And it's not, you don't have any precision strike weapons really.
Yeah.
Even the lance is kind of like would you like to destroy this 1 kilometer area? Go for it. You have... You do have a... oh, my brain's gonna...
Thunderhawk?
Thunderhawk, yes, there you go. However, the ship is also equipped with drop pods. Okay. So, depending on how you want to insert. Past that.
Okay. I mean, they give me a strike cruiser. That's a lot already.
Yeah.
And I mean, the impact from a drop pod might actually help Morrigan form a thought. He's not here, and I'm roasting him.
Essentially, we'll shift away from Varak as he's like looking over. There's a couple of the Astartes assigned to your squad already there. But as we shift away, a few more start to move in, you know. Essentially, they've been called and they are starting to turn up. As we shift back to the apothecary and the chaplain, a little bit of time has passed, I'm assuming in basically complete silence.
Yeah, I think after I was like, yeah, penance went well, and he was like, yep. I was like, okay.
Sweet.
I assume that I would want to like get all my armor back on and to feel like I'm ready to, you know.
We were told to wait there.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah,
if you tried to leave, I'd be like,
yeah, no, okay.
And for the most part, you won't be armored in the fortress monastery.
Okay.
When you go out onto mission, you'll be kind of like encased in the black carapace, and then you know all the armor gets put on, and you get given your stuff. I would say after probably about 10-15 minutes or so, the doors crack open again, and the interrogator chaplain walks out. Looks over and says, "Apothecary Silas, you are required to report to your new squad."
Yes, sir.
"They will be gathering in the practice arena for inspection."
As you will, sir.
Oh, and could you inform Sergeant Tykar that Chaplain Nephir will be along shortly?
Yes, I can do that, sir.
Very well.
And I guess I walk out and head towards the training arena.
The interrogator chaplain turns to you, Nephir, and says, "Attend me again, brother."
It's my honor, chaplain.
And he takes you through winding corridors, in complete silence. Like there's a few kind of serfs who are like carrying, you know, data slates or that type of thing, like throughout the corridors, and they like immediately jump out the way, like try to squish themselves against walls and stuff as you go through.
If they don't squish themselves, I'll squish them.
As you get to the let's essentially call it the office of the interrogator chaplain, like the last kind of corridor you move through, you can vaguely hear just like kind of like, the best way I could describe it is muffled, kind of like low. It sounds low, but you do know that this area is reasonably soundproofed. Just a little bit of muffled, like sotto voices, you know. But that is the nature of this area. and he leads you into the into his chambers, where he goes. He says, "Have a seat," and goes up to this ornate kind of casing on a kind of very exquisite like stone bench table looking thing, which has a Crozius and the death mask, the black mask of the skull mask of a chaplain, kind of encased in it, and kind of puts his hand on it and still kind of like looking away from you, says, are you ready to fulfill your duties?
I am, Chaplain.
Are you prepared to do what has to be done for the good of the chapter?
There is nothing that could stop me, Chaplain.
And of course, for the good of our father. I have orders from the Grand Master for you. You are to join 4th Company's newly formed squad, which is going out on mission to assist the forces of the Imperium across this sector. However, there is an additional mission. You remember I told you of the secrets of our chapter, of our original legion, the Dark Angels?
Yes, I remember.
You will be tasked to bring us back one of the fallen.
I don't do a good job of keeping my cool, but he's looking away from me, so it's fine. I'm like,
He's like got his hand on this ornate glass case with like gold and all this kind of stuff, and he's like looking off into the distance, like dreamily, like say, and you just got Nephir like jumping around the room, like.
Yeah, Peachy, I was just like, but that's why we're here.
That's
It would
why
be-
I'm here.
it would be the greatest honor of my life.
Depending on the success of the mission, I will allow you to sit in on the interrogation once you have returned.
I should give it my all, Chaplain.
And he like reaches out and like touches this little kind of almost golden flower bit that's coming out of the side of the case, and it like indents in as he pushes it, and you hear this kind of like mechanical clicking whirring as the case itself like closes, and instead of the glass it's got like metal, and you know it kind of slams shut, and he picks up the the case. It's quite big, even on him, because you know obviously 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot giants that you all are. And he lays it down in front of you on the desk kind of that's in front front of you. And he says, the croziers and the helmet of a chaplain. I give this to you so that you may use it when it is finally time for your hunt to begin. Until then, you must remain as you are.
I understand.
However, once it is time, you may don the mask and you may wield the crozier of a chaplain.
I look forward to that day.
In that case, go and report to your new sergeant and guide all of his warriors through the right path of the Emperor.
It will be my great honor. Thank you, Chaplain. I pick up the box reverently and bow to him and head and leave towards the practice
As you
arena.
As you were just about at the door, you hear the interrogator chaplain say, "Pius,
I pivot 180 in an instant and bow. Yes, Chaplain.
it would be a tragedy if only you returned with your quarry. However, even that I would consider acceptable and a success."
I understand. It'd be a greater tragedy to let a fallen escape.
That it would.
I would do all that needs to be done, Chaplain.
You may go.
I bow again and pivot and leave.
Okay.
Jump and click my heels in the hallway.
I was gonna say, boy got his Crozius, man. This is graduation day.
Well, he's not allowed to use it yet, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you can't open it till Christmas.
Yeah.
But I even know what it is. I want it now.
But he said he can use it when the time is right. So as
Hmm.
soon as we know where he is he allowed to wear it? Is that what?
Essentially, once his real objective starts, he's
Yeah.
allowed to open
Okay.
it.
Okay.
And as you walk out the door, the camera fades, and I think for the purposes of this, partially because Sheepy needs a trip to the lavatory, we'll say that you have all some time has passed, Sergeant, and they have the full squad has gathered up.
I am now in full battle plate.
Oh God.
Okay. In that case, before I go to the lavatory, you currently have standing to attention in squad formation. You have your Tech Marine, Sarathiel Datian. You have Marines, Nerakan Rodat, Sethaman Arkorian, and Radius Lazriel. You also have, to the side, Veteran Scout Sergeant, Cassian Engadil, you also have Apothecary Maribon Silas, Chaplain Pious Nephil, and the 2 heavy weapon specialists, who obviously don't have the heavy weapons currently, but the twins, Morakan and Morakil Otar. And what I will say is, if you would like to give them an opening speech, that would be great. Make it long enough to urinate. And
Make that speech urinate, baby.
if I'm not back in time, speak to the people who are here and none of the NPCs who are like, you know, they're like frozen in time, like ready to go as soon as I get back. So yeah, just take it away, Sergeant.
I look around. Is everyone standing like fully to attention?
Yes.
Yes.
Is everyone in full plate? Or...
Yes. No, I would say that the twins don't have our helmet. We don't have our helmets on.
Yeah, I would assume everyone would have their helmets off. Well, I don't know.
I mean,
do they? I have my helmet off.
Okay, cool.
I'm probably holding it under my armor. Oh no, it's attached, maglocked.
Yeah.
Maglocks. He said the thing.
He said the thing.
Magnets. How do they work?
So I sort of pace back and forth, like really like agonizingly slowly, and it's the only sound in the room is like the servos in the armor and stuff. And you can hear, like, I'm walking so slow, that's all you can hear from the armor because my footsteps are really light. I'm not moving very fast. 4th Company. I am honored to lead you. The chapter master has given this to me. I do not take any of your personal honors lightly. You're all meant to be here. You're all good at what you do. I will listen to any questions you may have, and I will take into account any suggestions you might have. But I would like to draw a line. You are now all 4th Company. It starts here, whether you were before or not. We are a unit that is to be cohesive on the battlefield. And I walk up and I start to sort of not inspect you, but that's clearly what I'm doing. And I'm a dark angel. I'm judging from appearances a little bit.
Dark angel judging somebody? What? No.
Apothecary.
Yes, Sergeant.
I have heard of your record. I care not for your mistakes. You have served your penance as far as I'm concerned. Do not let the company down.
I will not, Sergeant.
I glance at the chaplain, but I walk straight past to this hulking brute. Brother Morrican.
Brother Sergeant. He's really keeping it tight, but you can tell he's that kind of vibe. Just
I was privy to your training today.
I apologies for my shortcomings and letting my anger get to me. The sight of victory was so close. It was so tempting. I couldn't help myself.
I just look at you and I don't say anything for a bit. I let it go on a little bit too long, perhaps.
Morgan is just inside. He is just like, "Ugh, you're You're gonna get in trouble again.
Brother Morrigan, your combat prowess precedes you. Please relax.
And he kind of at ease, just kind of. Thank you, Brother Sergeant. I look forward to serving you in the field.
I look forward to seeing the alacrity you bring to combat before my eyes.
Before the sergeant carries on, I'm just going to add a little extra context for the Marines present, which is all of you, but also like something that will be going across the minds of all of the, I think probably nearly all of the Marines. At least one of them is pretty new, having been initiated just in the last year. But the sergeant, Sergeant Tykar, is notable as someone present for one of the more, I'd say, more recent stains on the chapter's history. It isn't as serious as some of the others that have happened, but the Trevelyan campaign featured a failure by the Fidelis Angelus, perpetrated mostly by the Inquisition. It is something that has gone around the chapter. The majority of the Astartes in the chapter know of it, just purely because none of you really believe that the exterminatus perpetrated was necessary. The order to retreat and the subsequent exterminatus of the planets was something that was hotly debated and opposed by the Astartes from your chapter. Most specifically, the Sergeant, who was not in overall command, but operational command at the time. It is something that at least some of you probably speculate could be the reason why he hasn't been promoted to captain yet. Not that it was really his fault, but these things follow you around for a while.
Somebody's got to bear the responsibility, kind of a thing.
Yeah. And it's never good to have a stain like that on the chapter's battle records. They stay there forever.
Yeah.
Some stains don't wash away. I have a question. Is Nafir acting chaplain in the company?
He wasn't actually. He was assigned specifically to the interrogator chaplain, who has a certain level of autonomy. So he's served in multiple companies over his time with the interrogator chaplain, but he has not been assigned to a company yet. When he becomes a chaplain fully, he will get that honor.
Okay, so at the moment he's a Marine.
Yes.
Right. Okay. That's why I walked over him earlier, because I wasn't sure what the deal was. I didn't want to call him chaplain, and he wasn't a chaplain.
Yeah.
I walked through. The people I wanted to just converse with, to just see how they react to me. Everyone sort of replied to me as I would have expected. So after I've sort of just checked, everyone seems like no one in here. There are some marks against people's names, but I know about marks against people's names.
Yeah.
So I go back to the center of the room. As I said, a line has been drawn. I care not who you were, I care who you are. and I will serve you to the best of my ability. And I take a knee to them.
What? Oh shit.
I return it.
Morrican is just like, what the? He kind of sees this and goes, and he looks at his brother. He looks at Morrikill like, what do we do? This is weird. Like,
I just from my knee.
Yeah, Morrikill fairly quickly dips to his knee and like kind of guides his brother down with him as he goes. But I imagine there's a second of resistance or so as Morrican is like, huh? What? Oh, are we fighting again? Oh no, wait, he's trying to help me. Yes, okay.
Yeah. He's like, what the hell? And Morrican it clicks so fast, and he's like, oh god. And he goes down to one knee so fast that he puts a dent in the floor with his just boom, right his knee on the ground.
And Silas goes down to his knee, and he does it like it's like the most like pristine, like, you know, it's the by the book, because he's just so afraid of fucking something up again that he's just like, yeah.
He's like, my knee needs to be at precisely 90 degrees.
There's a slight like whir and click as a couple of the mechadendrites on the back of the Tech Marine move around, and Sarathiel says,
We exist to serve, Brother Sergeant.
Is his voice like, is it his helmet, or is it his actual, like, does he have like some sort of like a voice replacement thing, like a...
Yeah, so he has multiple like bionics on his, like, even what you can see just on his face. He has a bionic eye, and yeah, he's pretty far down the flesh is weak route.
Gotcha. Not full iron hands, but not too far off.
So as I notice everyone else has taken a knee, I sort of stand up and I relax my gait a little bit. It's not like I'm still the sergeant, but I'm not being full, what are you doing kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
Brothers, we have a mission to fulfill. We have our own strike cruiser. It will just be fourth company. We must serve the Emperor where we can. I glance around to the people who know what we're actually doing. And we will protect humanity together. And I slam my fist across my breastplate. For the Emperor.
Does it the
For
same.
the Emperor.
For the Emperor.
For the Emperor. Like, coughs that out.
Emperor. Yeah. We will meet on the flight deck. 1800 hours.
And
make your preparations.
There is a chorus of, yes, Brother Sergeant.
You are dismissed.
And then they all essentially split off and move and start getting ready. Over the next little period of time, you are all equipped with your war gear, your Astartes pattern power armor, bolt guns for those of you with bolt guns, the weapons of your trade. The black carapace is fitted. For those of you who've seen the beautiful video, you know what it's like. It is a very large event, with each Marine being ritually armored and blessed, and it takes a little bit of time, but it is worth it to appease the machine spirits, and also to, you know, like, really make it worthwhile, all of this pomp and ceremony that goes on around the place. So
A little bit of homina goes a long way, right?
oh yeah. So I think we'll look to the sergeant quickly. I'm wondering whether you would like to interact with the commander of the ship before you go on, or once you are underway.
The ship mistress. No, probably underway. I've probably introduced and that, but I haven't really spoken to her yet.
Okay. In that case, moving on from the armoring and the gear, you are all now decked out in power armor. Yeah. You have your weapons, and if there is a need, you have your tech marine, your tech priest marine. Sarathiel is available to fix, repair, to chant, to appease the machine spirits of your weapons, of your armor, if needed. Everything is pretty well maintained, so hopefully everything will be fine.
Morrican is 100% the first chance he's getting, making his way to what's the tech marine's name?
Sarathiel Datian.
Sarathiel, yeah. So he is 100%. He's got once he gets armored up and he's got his heavy bolter, he's gonna immediately go down there and be like, I just need a couple more rounds per minute. Just a couple more, my dude. How do we he's just like, can we squeeze a few more? What prayers, what sayings, what should I do to get a few more bullets out of this gun faster? I need that for you, for the Emperor, for the good of our chapter, brother, please. He 100% knows me and is just like
Well, as you go down and basically ask him to juice up your weapon,
yeah.
Sarathiel, he is expressionless. A lot of his face is cybernetic or bionic to some degree. However, I'm not sure that Morrican would clue in onto it, but I do know that other Marines can tell the basic mood of the tech marine via his mechadendrites. There's one especially which is kind of it's kind of like a clamp mechadendrite. It's quite heavy-handed, quite chunky. It tends to snap a lot when he is frustrated or annoyed.
Wags when he's happy,
or when you give him treats.
So I just imagine the more Morrican talks to him, he just starts clamping more and more.
It's not too bad right now. It's very lightly kind of tapping. Okay. But he says,
Brother Ottar, you have come to me repeatedly with requests to modify your weapon. I have rejected it repeatedly, as it is not necessary for the function of your duty.
But listen, Brother Datian, I would be so much more effective at my duty if I could do it faster.
Your weapon is sufficient as it currently is. If you would like me to chant some of the rites over it, I am willing. However, I will not be modifying your weapon, as it serves its purpose already.
Okay, I suppose that's fair. Could you recite the benediction of rounds per minute That would really assist me, at least feel confident in my ability and duty and the equipment that we have. I feel as though that would assist me very well, brother.
I am able to ministrate to your weapon while we are in transit to our destination, and I can almost guarantee you that your weapon will not explode.
That's good, brother Dadian. Thank you. I'll leave it here and come back soon.
You are still here, brother.
Yeah, Morkan's just like waiting for him to be like, okay, but all he's just saying is like, okay, right, goodbye, brother. Just runs out of there.
You hear like a click and a whir and a couple of like robed attendants kind of squeeze past you as you're leaving the room.
Oh yeah, and if Morkan doesn't even see them. Morkan is just like walking through, and if anyone doesn't get out of the way fast enough, he's gonna just like walk through them, and in plate armor, I'm in full battle plate. I'm guessing that's a wound. That's an injury.
Oh yeah. It's basically like getting hit by a small tank.
Yeah, he's just boom, boom, and you see the clack, 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 clack of the feet because he's not being quiet. Yeah. You know.
So I think you are now in transit to the sector where you are going to be operating. Essentially, all of you will at this point be very aware of your base objective, which is to set up in the sector and respond to calls for assistance to the Astartes specifically. There are instances where there'll be calls for assistance just in kind of in general, where they're like, we need an Imperial Guard regiment because, you know, so and so you know, our civilians are rising up against us because we treat them so terribly, you know, etc., etc. You know,
wah, civil unrest. Wah.
we've got mutants in our sewers. Boo-hoo. Generally speaking, the Astartes are called in for situations that require a little finesse. Whether that finesse be blowing up an entire mountain or, you know, just squishing some Xenos. I would say for the most part, you're not going to be called in for some simple civil unrest. Not unless it's an entire planetary or system-wide civil war. And my question here is, as players, you're all aware at this point of the status of the Dark Angels and the Unforgiven in general, the successor chapters and everything. What are your characters' relation? Not necessarily to that secret, you know, about the Fallen, about the traitors, about Luther and everything, but more along the lines of the existence of the Unforgiven, the existence of the Dark Angels and their successor chapters, who are unable to move past their failures. You know, like, how much does that resonate with your characters so far?
You're talking about like what does it mean to our characters about like the Dark Angels and like specifically the Fallen of the Dark Angels, or?
Yeah, but on a more broader sense, one of the aspects of the Fallen, one of the aspects of the Dark Angels and their successor chapters, is the idea that their failure led to a big betrayal, and something a shame that they keep secret from the entire rest of the galaxy. Most importantly, the entire rest of the Imperium. And like for your characters, how does that idea resonate? Like the idea of failure being essentially something you can't get rid of, something you eternally have to make up for.
Yeah. For my character, it was his failure when he thought he succeeded. It was during his training when he was set to find a spy on one of the planets. And he found the spy, and in his zeal, he obliterated the spy.
Yeah.
And felt like job well done. But he was shown that if he had instead taken the time, that spy was far more valuable for the information they could have provided than their death was.
Yeah.
And it's that kind of that failure because of his fervor.
Yes, the enthusiasm to be successful, to succeed, to get the job done, kind of blinded him, prove himself, kind of blinded him to the possibilities of, you know, what else could be achieved further past the initial goal.
We should focus on our goal, but not so much that we don't see past it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I was gonna say, obviously, Apothecary Silas, you may have some thoughts on.
Well, I assumed that like it was like he kind of looked down on him when he was starting, right? And it was like he's a younger Marine, and it's like, oh, these they let all of our brothers down, but now it's like, now that he's had his own failure, it's like he kind of like, it kind of makes more sense to him. It's like he the ideals of battle aren't what they used to be, you know, like it's not like this perfect thing. He's had this incident where he was trying to do his duty and he fucked up, and now he's like, he kind of understands a little bit. He kind of like understands that like you never know what's going to happen in battle. You never know how things are going to go. You never, nothing is like, you can't really plan without planning for everything. And he tried to, and it didn't go out for him. So he kind of like has this thing where he's like, oh fuck, these guys went through they went through the ringer. They went through all this stuff. They had this ultimate betrayal. And I think he kind of feels like their pain a little bit, you know?
Sergeant?
I don't think that failure is an excuse for betrayal.
Yeah.
I think the betrayal is inherent in the person, and it's got nothing to do with the failure.
Yeah.
Failure was just the line to start from, rather than the reason that it started. I don't think he has inherent guilt for his gene seed, but he definitely feels like the only way to get past failure is to absolve yourself.
Yeah.
If you don't absolve yourself, then you've either betrayed the Imperium or you've betrayed yourself.
Yeah.
Or your own morals and stuff like that, rather than, oh yeah, that happened, so of course they betrayed. Like, no, it's not black and white, but it's pretty much, yeah, that doesn't excuse any of this.
And Morrican, has this ever come up during a conversation with Morrikiel, or?
Morrikiel's tried to explain it to me multiple times, and it's definitely like, I know it's like one of those, like, it's explaining it to a child kind of a thing of like you were talking about it's not black and white, but to Morrican it's like failure. I don't know, Morrican doesn't really feel like, if he fails,
Yeah.
It's a fear of failure and a fear of the consequences of the failure, not the fear of dealing with feeling like you're a failure or dealing with your failure. It is just the meat and potatoes, the actions of, the consequences of.
It's like his forward momentum kind of stops him lingering on his own failures, but the consequences are ahead of him still. So momentum, make sure he's aware of them. Yeah.
Yep. And so he's still moving, he's still doing what he's doing, and he's still like pushing forward because he just, I don't know, he really, his drive comes from just like competition. Like it's not that he's like looking for a fight and looking for not failing and all that stuff. He just wants to be better than his brother. Yeah. Because that's his everything. And whether his brother feels that or not is kind of irrelevant to Morkan. He just, that's what he is. So failure is not really something that he gets hung up on a lot. He understands it. He fears it. He has a respect for doing the right thing and working hard at it, obviously, but he's not one to reflect very much.
So,
which is he's kind of an outlier in the Dark Ages. I mean, really, like he's very different, you know.
Correct me if I'm wrong here, but I had a thought on that, which was essentially like, if he fails or if he feels like he didn't do enough or you know, like around that kind of area, he kind of like just hooks it onto his back and keeps like plodding forward, like force of will kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Is it possible that there'll come a point in the future, maybe, where he's just got too much like weight dragging on him and it slows him down, you know, like could slow him down? Or
oh sure, I mean the only thing that keeps him from doing that and looking into that baggage and dissecting all that is his brother. And his ability to keep moving forward. If he stops moving, he's like, what is it, like a tuna fish, right? If they stop moving, they just die, right? If he stops moving, he will implode. You know, whether he survives that, I have no idea. But like, if he thinks about that and he really gets into that stuff, all of the failures, like, he has fucked up a lot. But his brother's always been there to either save him from that or give him a little bit of guidance or give him what he needs to move past that because he knows him so well.
Yeah. And probably mitigates the, you know, so it's never a disaster. It's like it's an oopsie.
Yep.
What happens to Morkan though if Morkill like gets taken out or something like that? There's a
oh my god,
real bad.
I have no idea, but like, I mean, he is
his brother holding back the tide, or is he just smoothing over each bump?
Smoothing over each bump. He's not. Morkan is not like he's not like an almost Khorne berserker. It's driven by competition.
Yeah.
Right. So he wants to be better than his brother and, you know, do service in the name. Right. It's all right. So he wants to do better than his brother. But if he doesn't have that competition, it's like a what's my purpose kind of a thing, you know? Like, yes, the purpose of being here and helping the Imperium and for the Emperor and all the standard stuff. But what drives him specifically is the competition with his brother. If he doesn't have that, like most of his existence and his reason to being is just like ripped from him. And it would be, I don't know what would happen. We have no idea, but it probably wouldn't be good, you know?
Just to be safe, we'll keep Morkill alive as best we can.
Probably good idea.
Just to be safe.
Probably a good idea.
could I posit as well that possibly a challenge, you know, like not necessarily just competition, but just like the prospect of something challenging is like, oh, you know, cracks knuckles. Like, let's see if I can dominate this thing, you know.
Yes, absolutely, right? Like he wants to just, again, it's all. The theme is momentum, right? Forward, right? You get challenges, competition, making things faster, better, bigger, whatever. Like
Does he have like an internal record in his mind of the most kills that he got and like the most orcs he's killed in one battle? He's got like, I got this number. The most Tyranid I faced off, and there's this many.
No, because that would require a lot of thinking, and he's not a fan of that. However, he does know the battles in which he did better than his brother. So he can kind of be like that one. So like there may be a score, but it's a really general kind of like floaty, vague score, and it's totally not accurate. It's they're 120 years old. Yeah, right.
If I could posit as well something here, I feel like it doesn't matter how many orcs you gun down or like crush their windpipe or rip their head off, they're still just orcs. Like, I feel like Morrican would be like, I took out an orc dreadnought, or, you know, I crushed an orc war boss. These things are...
Had a fist fight with a stomper.
Yeah, you know. It's like, the pride doesn't come in from feats of, like, mass slaughter. It's from the challenge of defeating something that's difficult.
And you know something, it's interesting because everybody, like, people in chat were like, oh, Khorne Berserker. If you think about it though, he is way more susceptible to Slaanesh.
Yeah, there's
Khorne. It is an obsession, or not, it's not an obsession yet, but like, you know, passionate about competition and being the best.
Yeah.
You know?
Which
how many times has Morrican said, no, I don't think you're actually allowed to go fight an orc naked? It seems like comes up with those stuff. Wait, what if I do it blindfolded?
Carapace me down, brother.
Well, so you guys know that scene in Lord of the Rings where Legolas takes out that giant elephant thing and then slides down the trunk and lands. It only counts as one. That is Morrican and Morrikill, basically.
I legitimately was thinking the exact same dynamic of them counting.
Yeah, which kind of sucks a bit for Morrican, because majorly Morrikill gets more impressive kills because Morrican has the heavy bolter. Morrican has the heavy bolter. Morrikill has a heavy plasma cannon for the most part. Sometimes las cannon, but it just means like he's usually taking down the tank or the dreadnought or whatever, you know, the big Tyranids and stuff like that. Whereas Morrican's mostly on grunt duty, where he's just chunking down things. But
I have a question that was brought up by chat about the value of humans.
Yeah.
To everyone.
Ooh,
I think that's interesting, because we're not really human anymore.
No. Go for it. You
Well, what about the medic?
I mean,
that's
I made
question.
I made the mistake.
It's in transition.
Yeah, I made the mistake of letting my humanity kind of like feel sorry for him once, and it fucked me over real bad. So it's like, I think there's a little content like against humans now, like it was humans' fault, like even though it was me trying to, you know. So he's a little like these inferior beings, even though it was him like trying to take care of him, cost him and put him in bad light, and now he's just like kind of like doesn't want to deal with any of their shit, man. It's just a little, it's like, it's the like thinking versus feelings, you know. It's like he knows he's better, but there's still a part of him that wants to. He's got more humanity than most Space Marines, right? So it's like he kind of I think he kind of hates himself too for that. Like he hates himself for like having those feelings for those humans, like you know.
It's essentially like he's struggling with the instinct that tells him that he's superior, the evidence that tells him he's superior, and remnants of being human, being recruited, you know, like the move over to being an Astartes.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean like you get cut off from all emotions. Like, you know, their training and stuff does a lot of that, but it's not 100%. It's not completely effective. Like, Marines very often have some aspect of like recognition. Very often they lose a lot of their kind of memories of when they were human, slowly over time. I imagine someone like Varrock probably can't remember much of anything. Maybe a few like core memories as a child or like growing into his formative years, but barely anything.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I think Varrock, he's pretty old now.
Yeah.
Even for an Astartes, to be honest. But he doesn't recall his name, anything from his previous life. Yeah. I think he does actually value human life, not in a
individual sense.
Like the value of an Astartes with a gun versus the value in battle of a human with a gun. One of those is more valuable. But as a person, their lives are still equal. But his orders often go directly against that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if there's like a bunch of humans dying here that don't need to die, and he could stop it, but he's got orders and he has to do the thing. That is the most important thing. He has to follow the orders. I think he feels a lot of guilt because he still finds he has no idea what a human is anymore. He doesn't understand them. But he knows that the Imperium and the Emperor of Man was humans were very important, and there is a what's the word? I can't think of the word. He just knows that human life is valuable. He's not sure why, and every time his orders tell him to not that, you got to go and do these important things, he struggles with that.
Yeah.
Like the textbook says, humans are good. We're fighting for them because we come from them, whatever. But everything aside from that is just like, we don't really care that much about them, you know?
Yeah.
Well, the textbooks say they're valuable, and the textbook came from the Big E himself, so they are valuable. And he fights with that in his mind. I think a lot of his guilt is he has to do the right thing for the chapter. He has to. That's the law, but the law is also human life is valuable, even if he doesn't quite understand why anymore.
Yeah.
He's completely lost
and
with being human.
There is a difference, of course, between human life, that person, and human life, the entirety of humanity and the Imperium. Right. And it's like the ideal of humanity, as opposed to that person right there. I should save them, but it's more important that this, you know, I do this thing or I stick to my duty. So there's maybe a little tug of war between like duty and purpose of a Space Marine in that regards.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. My next question would be, is there any initial interactions that happen? Essentially what I'm wondering here is, you know, obviously, you know, there's going to be everyday, day-to-day during travel, kind of transition through the warp, where, you know, you are sitting nearby someone, or you are, you know, training around each other and that type of thing. But is there anything of note that anyone feels would be happening, or...
I feel like that the first time Silas meets Morgan, he kind of like sees the metal plate on his head, and he's just like, how did this superior being get this like giant metal plate on his head? And like kind of looks like maybe he can tell from experience that it might have been self-inflicted or something like that. Like he's you know, did what he did, and so he's just like kind of looks at his like metal plate and he's like just kind of like cocks his head a little bit, like, what the hell did that, like, how did that happen? And just, but doesn't say anything. It's just like kind of just been like, this one might be a problem, kind of like inside his head, you know.
Would Morrican notice this? Did you do this in a way and Morrican would notice this?
I feel like it would have to be pretty in his face for Morrigan to notice it. Like I feel like Morrigan's going through his own, kind of thing. I think it's just a kind of like just a little head cock and just like, but not overly,
Would more
obvious.
Keel see it?
Probably, yeah. I bet more Keel's given him a similar look more than once. Kind of like a.
Is there like a silent conversation between Morkeel and you, and it's just like is he really that? Oh yeah, he's that.
Yep,
really?
yep,
Is he?
yep.
Oh god.
Yep.
Well,
It's kind of like,
so as you're kind of like looking and like head tilted a little bit, Morokil like leans forward very slightly. He's next to his brother, and just like raises his hand and like taps on Morrigan's head, like where the steel plate is, or the plate is, and says, "Bolt around, courtesy of a traitor." And then just
killed. Thank you.
Just fully slaps like on the metal plate.
I'm just like, God. Yeah. Why are we talking? Who's talking? What? Like, he looks at Morikeel and it's just like, why? Who are we talking to? Doesn't even know you're there. Doesn't have any idea you're there. Who are we talking to?
Luckily, they're not marksmen, and it was a very small target.
and then it's just a single nod, like, okay, I understand what happened, and
that line went right over Morgan's head.
Unlike the bullets.
and then Morgan looks over to Silas and just like, you're the apothecary, right?
Yes, that would be me.
I heard you were in one of those, what do we call them? Sad boxes?
Penance box.
Penance box. Thank you, brother.
And you kind of see this like, you better watch what the next thing you say kind of thing is, because it's like he's like still kind of like does not want to think about that and does not want to like, it's just like he's ready for him to like mock him or something like that, and just like
Morrigan just in a weird moment of clarity thinking about the last time that he was disciplined, and he has been in a penance box because fun. He is like, he 100% has done it. He is not, usually his failings are like not huge. They're much smaller, but frequent. Because he gets excited and doesn't think about stuff. And he just puts a hand on your shoulder and he goes, they're pretty awful, aren't they?
And then you just kind of see like he kind of, his eyes kind of glaze over and he's just like nods. It's nothing. He doesn't want to say it. He doesn't want to acknowledge it, but it's that. Yes.
And then kind of rears back and goes, I like the sergeant. We're not our failures, right? It sounds good. He kind of just trundles off.
And there's just like Silas is like, it kind of starts looking a little confused, but like it's like this is the oddest Space Marine Silas has ever met. Like it's just like
Morikil like leans forward very slightly and says, wait until we get into battle, it will all make sense. And then stands up and goes to follow his brother.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind having a chat with Sergeant Varric.
Yeah, I would not mind having a chat with Nafit.
I think I come to see you and make a point to come and see you at some point.
As you essentially go to the quarters for the sergeant, you see the veteran scout sergeant, Cassian Enkadil, like just kind of standing there outside the door. And as you walk up to the door, he says, you're going in.
And here's what I plan to do. Is he available?
I haven't checked yet, but I intend to talk to him. We may as well have a discussion together.
You can go ahead first if you wish. I can wait. I'm not
That's-
aware. Like, is this kind of like a standoff? Like, what if us are like, does he know? Like, are we able to chat in that sort of like coded language around each other a little bit?
I think the scout kind of like opens the door and kind of half steps in and says, Brother Sergeant Tykar.
Forgotten his fucking name. It's Cassian.
Yes, Cassian.
Brother Cassian.
Do you have the time to admit both myself and Chaplain Nephir in for a moment?
I have time to admit yourself and Brother Nephir.
And then he walks in.
I'll enter as well then.
Spicy.
As you walk in, Nephir, I think you see Varric palms his thumb to a half aquila, which is an inner circle sign, but it's basically just half an aquila, so it doesn't look like weird handshake type thing.
By the way, can I ask a point of clarity? I've never seen it, but I've only heard it. What is the actual symbol or like the thing of the Aquila? How do you
Dan
do that?
Abnett actually did it on a video.
Sorry.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
This.
I've
Yeah.
never seen it. So when they say like they show the sign of the Aquila, there's people literally doing this.
Yeah.
Blood hands.
And then
Mirror Manga interviewed him on a video, and he's like, "It's like this." He
Okay.
actually like Dan Abnett. I mean,
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. He writes the rules. Yeah. He's the lore man. He do the things.
It's generally speaking, it's the equivalent of a salute. A lot, yeah.
Cool. Yep. Thank you. I'm just curious. I've always wondered that. Never knew.
One of the Imperial Guardsmen does it on the Hell's Reach video, and it does quite cool. But yes,
brothers, take a seat.
Scout sits
Take my
down.
seat.
Does Nephir return the armed thumb?
I think you probably catch me glancing at the Sergeant Scout first, because I'm most wary of speaking out of turnaround time. Like, I've been placed with you. I trust they know the deal since you're in the lead, but I'm not sure about him. So you catch
Yeah.
me glancing at him first. Does he return it?
Yeah, he immediately.
Okay, then I return it as well.
And yeah, I hit the button on my desk after whispering something to the machine spirit, so the door locks.
Yeah.
How may I help you, Brother Cassian?
I was waiting for Brother Nephir to visit you, as I thought we three should have a conversation about what we plan to achieve.
As we are all in the know, the chapter master has charged us with hunting down a rumor. It is a fallen brother. The only information I have currently is that a member of the Inquisition is holding some information about something they believe to be traitorous. In the meantime, we are to... are we in the Ultima Segmentum? Because we're en route at the moment, right?
Yeah, I mean, currently you're in the warp, so
Right. But are we traveling to and from places in the safer area, let's say.
Yeah, you know, it's not, you're not in the outer reaches or anything.
Okay. So I know, sorry. We are to give aid to the Imperium's forces, but that is secondary to our goal of finding more information. Brother Nafir, the benedictions given to me by Chaplain Cadmiel are glowing. I don't say anything, and I want to know who's going to speak first.
Chaplain Cadmiel honors me.
Interesting. He is a fine man, and anyone he gives his blessings to must also be a fine man.
I strive to live up to his expectations, as well as yours, Brother Sergeant.
I'm sure you will. Currently, you are a Marine, a tactical Marine. I understand you have more knowledge than some of your brothers, and let's say that I am aware you may have suggestions, and I am open to them when you may have them. This blight, this rumor of a blight, is something we must absolve our chapter of fervently. But we must never forget that we have the power to help the Imperium along the way. Am I
Of
understood?
course. Absolutely.
Good. That is settled. Do you two have any questions?
None at all. I have a great admiration for you, Brother Sergeant. Spent much time reading the records and histories available to me. Your name stands there proudly, with many of our brothers.
As you look at me, it kind of looks like I'm distracted by something. Even though I'm a space marine and I can still fully have a conversation while doing something else in my head, or I can. I can't help but roast him. He's so lovely.
Cut to Morgan just staring at a wall.
Does this wall want to fight me?
Yeah. I saw him look at me weird. Morgan doesn't have eyes. Shut up.
I'm replaying something in my head because I know what he's referring to. It's my title. I assume that's what you're referring to.
Mm-hmm.
I see through not my own eyes, but looking at the back of myself as I am barehandedly ripping apart traitor guardsmen, and that definitely interrupts my flow a bit. Well, titles are embellished in records. You're only as good as your current conflict.
I think your current duties paint a great picture of you, Sergeant.
Well, I thank you for the honor.
Just the very company we've been given. The names that are with us. Radius, for example. Many believe him unmatched with a blade within our company. The brothers Otar and their efficiency.
Efficiency. Like a little curl of the lip, like not quite a smile, but a little bit of a twitch. Efficiency, I just repeat back to you. Do you know much of our apothecary?
I retrieved him from the penance box
Early.
with Chaplain Cadmiel, but it appears he has found his way, learned his lesson. But I will be keeping a close eye on the penitent apothecary.
Far be it
Just
from
to be
me
sure.
Question, Chaplain Cadmiel. I'll leave that in your hands.
Thank you.
With regards to finding out more information, is that something you can help me with, Brother Nefir?
I'm effective at finding answers or finding ways that I can extract them.
Of that I have no doubt. It's just that some of the information would be stored in something not as stalwart as an Astartes.
I have been working carefully to develop my delicate touch.
Be sure that you do, brother. It is important. And I look at you as if like we're having a completely different conversation for the words we just said.
I will lean on you for guidance should I falter, but I am confident I have learned much from Chaplain Cadmiel.
Good, good. I think we should do well. I look over to the Cassian.
Yeah.
Because I assume he's come here for a reason other than to watch me talk at a chaplain in training.
I would like to clarify my role under your command, Brother Sergeant.
I see.
My suspicions is that I will not be useful during regular insertions, and therefore, unless an extended conflict is started, I assume I would be more useful here.
You, of course, have full autonomy.
I intend to investigate aspects of the crew and command structure on the ship. I suspect we will be deployed reasonably soon, and I was hoping to be able to stay on the strike cruiser. Unless, of course, I am needed on the battlefield.
Your skills, brother, are always needed, but, of course. I do not know much of our ship mistress, but she is quite celebrated.
Can never be too careful with humans, sir.
They are under our protection.
They are corruptible.
Not everyone is immune to corruption, brother. That's all you know.
Not everyone, but some are more resistant than others.
True. Speaking of resistance, the brothers, the twins, they are unique.
I would perhaps say peculiar, but
Brother Morrigan himself has more confirmed kills than I would care to add up. He is clearly effective on the battlefield.
When I was training them, Brother Sergeant, it was deemed that their personality defect was the result was the thing that was producing the anomalous results of their success. It was therefore considered that their service would most likely be shorter than other brothers. However, it would be much more efficient.
Yet here they still are.
My instincts tell me that Morkiel has much to do with that. He seems to be the balance to his brother's enthusiasm.
He is certainly enthusiastic. Brother Cassian. You trust him on the battlefield?
As long as he's pointing in the right direction, we should be fine.
I will make sure his brother is with him. Very good.
The scout stands up, gives the full sign of the Aquila,
Yeah, I stand with him.
and walks out. And as he walks out, I'm not sure if there's much of an expression on the sergeant's face.
No, like, it's hard to tell, but he definitely has an affection because he's a veteran. They've known each other a long time.
Yeah.
But obviously, Barak is quite closed off,
Yes.
even for an Astartes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
In that case, we'll say maybe a slight furrowed brow. But aside from that, as the camera fades out, yes, we are left with his fairly stony visage, and the camera fades back in to the sound of war.
Let's fucking go. It's party time, kids.
On the planet of Hakten 4, the PDF are engaged with the orcs and have sent out a request for aid over Imperial channels. And in fact, we come down with the camera to a mountainous range around a vast exchange of fire. Las guns, auto guns, stubbers, heavy stubbers, artillery, even a couple of flyers, a couple of planes even dropping some ordnance or strafing. This entrenched orc position part way up the mountain, which is metallic and spiky and rusted and looks like all the other orc crap, how they usually look. It is a few lines of metal walls with angry orcs shouting and swearing in Orcish and firing weapons that we all know shouldn't work, but are effective enough at killing. Swinging around over to the Imperial side, there are more efficient trenches dug. The PDF are inside them, they have their heavy weapons, they have their artillery, and everything seems to be focused on maintaining fire. And as the PDF scurry back and forth, what looks to be a commissar, from the attire, from the bearing, he is the only one who is not at all panicked. He is the only one who is keeping a steely glance up and down to make sure that everyone stays in their place and no one retreats. this seems to be a reasonably high stakes situation. There's some form of like stress running through the PDF forces as the commissar shouts, "Keep up the fire, lads!"
Sounds friendly.
It's the friendliest commissar I've ever heard. You shoot them or I shoot you is more like it.
And as he grabs as he essentially grabs one of the loaders, one of the ammunition carriers who's running down, and says, "Soldier, run that ammunition down to quadrant 3. They're almost out of ammunition. If we let up, that is when they will attack." And he like pushes him, and the guy kind of like stumbles a little bit and runs off. And at that time, a nearby Vox operator runs up to the commissar and says, "Commissar, sir, we have something coming over the Vox." And he essentially passes over the receiver, and a voice comes over the Vox to the commissar. It is Sergeant Varric.
Commissar, this is Sergeant Varric of the 4th Company.
Just 4th Company?
Oh, I've forgotten a bloody name.
Oh, sorry. It is the Fidelis Angelus Chapter.
Let me write that down. I couldn't find it anywhere in the Discord.
Fidelis Angelus.
Fidelis Angelus. I'm going to go with Angelus.
Yes, that's fair.
Fidelis
I'll try to do that too.
Angelus. 4th Company of Fidelis Angelus. Fidelis Angelus.
Did you say Sergeant? Sorry, I'm just...
Yes, Sergeant Varric.
Yes, Sergeant. How may I help?
We received your Vox. I understand you could do with some help.
Help would be very much appreciated.
I see. I will be upon you shortly, and I immediately cut the Vox.
The Vox cuts out, and the commissar like swings around to the Vox operator and says, "Get me HQ." And the Vox operator like, messes around with the Vox, and he pulls up the thing and speaks into it and says, cease all fire on my sector." And cease anti-air and artillery. And as the orders go through, the fire like peters out and stops. And for like 5 seconds, maybe 10 seconds even, the like a quiet kind of spills over most of the battlefield, and then across this, like, there's been a lot of artillery fire, there's been a lot of shooting, there's like a little bit of mist and debris and stuff all over this battlefield. From the other side, you know, a fair distance away, there's just this echoing whoa as these orcs like pile over the kind of like, let's call them palisades, these metal palisades, like falling over them, cutting themselves, like the gates to this palisade like burst open and orcs just kind of like come charging out. There is evidence of orc bodies which have tried to run across, possibly in other lulls. You know, there was a lull in the fire, but it was a trap to draw them out. They came out and they got blown up. They don't seem to care. They're in a bit of a frenzy, and they just charge out immediately and start charging along towards the trench line. as they're charging along towards this trench line, there is a kind of like rumbling all around, which the PDF troopers think initially is the orcs running. However, it is the air. It is coming from above. As the orcs get closer to the trench line, these like cylindrical drop pods just crash into the ranks of the orcs and scatter them everywhere.
Let's fucking go!
And as they land, the doors spring open, and the Astartes of the Fidelis Angelus step out, already firing, bolters in hand, and just tearing into these orcs. So we will start with the sergeant. You're one of the first out the doors. As the door ejects and you walk down, immediately you are faced with this like big tusked orc who doesn't even bother with his pistol, just raises this massive chopper and charges towards you with a whoa, like, you know, essentially bearing down on you.
I wait there until he gets close enough, and in almost one fluid motion, I bring my head to the middle of his face as I reach down to my power sword, and as I'm pulling the power sword out, I'm thumbing the power stud on it as I bring it straight up across his chest and to the side of his neck, and then with my bolt pistol, I just put it under his throat and pull the trigger and look around.
And the orc kind of like reels backwards with the headbutt and the slice across the chest, and there's kind of like a flailing back, and this blood goes like flying out, and then just collapses in the next second, as in this most like fluid, almost barely able to see motion, just and brains splatter everywhere.
And I shout, Morakil, Morakan, cover our flanks. Marines, move forward, press down.
And you hear in the distance from one of the other drop pods,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir!
as both Morakan, Morakil steps out one side, and you hear this like, and just a ball of plasma goes flying towards the palisade, and like hits just above the palisade on like the cliffside, and just kind of like splats and like shatters plasma everywhere, and like a big like chunk of the mountain is dug into at the same time as Morakan
Immediately just like Morgan's really upset he can't kick the doors of the drop pod out.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's fine. So he still takes one big step to make sure it's clear. But as he's doing this, he's got the heavy bolter. He's lifted it this way. He's got his foot, and he leans forward with a kick to make sure it's clear, because it's still smoke and stuff and whatever.
Yeah.
Does that, and then as he does that, leans down and just goes chug, 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 and is just mowing a line. Literally, like, he knows the trenches are behind him, and he goes, okay, everything that way is dead, and that way is alive. And then he just swings, does a full, like, not 180, because that's a little too risky, but call it 175-degree swing. And and he covers this with a full just to clear the way. After that, what does he see?
Oh yeah, I mean, like as Morakad is like the bolt rounds like shoot through this dust, leaving like little circling trails of dust as they go, and as they impact the orcs, like one of the orcs, like the shoulder gets blown off and the arm goes flying. Another one just like straight in the middle of the torso just erupts his chest. And in reaction, seeing as this like very potent anti-personnel presence has suddenly turned up out of nowhere, a few of the orcs immediately swing round, responding, and start firing off shots. Like with their like kind of solid weapon gun. The typical orc shooters. And a couple of shots like ping. One shot like pings off Morrigan's helmet, and another shot pings off Morrigan's helmet. After the second one like pings his head, he actually feels like a pressure on the back of his knee as his brother like kicks his knee, so that
left, idiot.
Well, so that Morrigan goes down on one knee and the shots start whizzing over his head.
That's pretty cool.
And Morrigan like swings round, and one of the orcs who's firing at Morrigan like sees this like glowing blue plasma energy, and it just goes and then this big ball of plasma energy just goes flying straight at this orc. The orc disappears, and all that's left is a couple of feet like on the ground there, kind of like splurting a bit of blood.
Circle.
Yeah.
Oh my god, and yeah, absolutely. And so he goes down to one knee. He recognized that, he sees that, and then from wherever those pings were coming from, it was like ping ping. He hit the knee, and he goes, "Oh, those motherfuckers!" And he turns that way and just aims it in that direction. It's orcs, so that direction is good enough.
Yeah,
Yeah. So.
And moving on to Pius, as your drop pod smashes open.
I take aim at the first orc.
Oh, I may need to turn down the music just a little bit to help.
I say, brothers, like, light them up with my bolt gun. We are the Emperor's wrath. We are his spear. We are his hand, and we shall crush his enemies. I just keep lighting them up. I just keep good. And we shall show we have our place in this legacy. It's probably the most any of you have heard me talk.
I was just gonna say, we're hearing a lot of talk.
Like, okay, let's go.
And like as in between each like sermon, as you fire, the camera like swings down to the POV of the gun, and it like swings around, and like follows the aim towards another orc who's like charging and screaming, just like the head gets blown away and goes down in a shower of blood. And Apothecary Silas.
So Silas gets out of his pod and immediately looks for Morrigan and Morrikill, because he's like, one, he knows Morrigan's probably like the most likely to just go,
Get fucked up.
Yeah, get fucked up. And also he knows that if those two go down, they're in trouble because they're the heavy weapons. So he just kind of gets behind those two and kind of just starts picking off any stragglers that are just like maybe potentially going to get out of the like rage vision of those two, and kind of just like backs them up and basically is going, these are our most dangerous weapons. So I want to just protect them and, just make sure they get to do what they need to do.
And the as you are, you hear this kind of like, "Whoa," and you kind of look around and you see like one like spiky helmeted, carrying two big giant axes, orc like bearing down on you, like running straight at you.
And so I aim and just start just putting rounds right towards his head. It's just round after round and round until it finally hits one, and he just.
I can help you out there. The orc is two axes and charging like, "Roar!" And while Maraban is like looking at the twins, He looks over, sees the orc, just raises the bolter, one shot through the head, and then just carries on, swings the bolt around, starts taking a few shots at some of the others, and... Wait one sec. And as that happens, we fade out, and we will rejoin the battle in the next episode.
Whoa!
That music was banging, man. That music was banging.
It was nice doing all the talky stuff, but also chug.
Yeah, right. Yep. My thing was like, it's like I have the big heavy bolter and I'm just mowing shit down, but I'm also just like, man, this is really all I can do when you have a heavy bolter because it uses both of your hands.
Yeah.
You know? So it's just like, well, chug until it's dry, and then the fun begins.
Well, I mean, if you drop your heavy bolter to use your knife, you're gonna get some shit from your Tucky.
I'm gonna get so much trouble.
He's
like,
like,
absolutely.
I prayed over that. I oiled it in sacred unguents, like, and you just drop it on the floor like a barbarian.
You had your sacred prayer on the weapon and everything,
Yep.
and yeah.
Exactly, the benediction of RPM. Yeah. Thank you again, Peachy, for that. That was he dropped that in the Discord while we were talking. I'm like, well, that has to be in the episode.
I'm mostly popping shit in the Discord to try and break everyone who's trying to do serious scenes.
Yeah, me and Peachy got into it a couple times.
Brother, I've fallen.
So, because we went a little bit over than we planned, I kind of wanted to give you guys a decent little chunk of, being a space marine, but we'll get a proper chunk of it tomorrow, so.
Hell yeah.
Oh, no, sorry, not tomorrow, next week. Yes.
I thought this was just one go. We're doing the entire thing every day.
All 6 episodes, yep, every day.
Buckle up!
To begin with, how about we have a little round? Feel free to talk about the episode and things. Is anyone in a specific hurry to end, or do we have a little leeway here for finish?
No, we're good.
Got a bit.
Okay.
Got a bit, yeah.
In that case, we will go in reverse order. Feel free to talk a little bit if you like about the episode, about what you think, how you feel. You can rein in the guilt and depression from your characters. Feel free to retain your own guilt and depression.
Thanks. I'll tell my therapist you said that.
Hey,
rein it in.
But we'll start with our apothecary Maraban Silas and also Rod.
So I had a blast, man. It's such an interesting dark world, and it's as someone who doesn't know as much about the lore as like Peachy or like everyone else. It's just like it's cool just diving in and just kind of trying to pick up things that go along with it, and it's just such a power fantasy, right? Warhammer in general is just like a power fantasy, right?
Oh yeah.
So just like kicking ass and just like kind of just diving into this dark epic space fantasy, right? It's like it's really cool. I mean, I've always liked Warhammer, but it's a dope thing. These guys are fucking awesome. So I had a blast, man, and I can't wait to see where the game goes. So
oh yeah. Which means we're over next to the most pious Nephir and also Zacodicus.
Yeah, I had a great time. Now those little things in RP that you don't get until you're in RP. It wasn't until I was in it that I really got that. He's kind of young and out of place with all these veterans and proven people.
Yeah.
Like that kind of vibe that clicked in nicely, and I'm like, oh,
Just
I get to
trying
go
to
think
fit
about
in.
that for a week now. Oh, how that's gonna work out. So I got some good internal RP to be doing.
We do have another young Astartes in the squad, so
yeah, we're the youngins who are both like trying to prove ourselves in one way or another, right? Like you're trying to prove you're the chaplain, and I'm trying to prove I'm not a fuck up.
Yeah.
So it's
like for sure, like Peachy choosing to make sure that Varric was making the distinction. Like, brother, Not yet, not quite
Dude.
chaplain yet. I was like,
Dude, that-
It wasn't supposed to be a slight.
a little bit.
You know what I mean?
But he didn't take it as a slight, but it did kind of hurt his feelings a little bit. In the sense, he's
Dude.
like, but like I might not be a chaplain, but I'm special. Like the chaplain
Just
really
tried to
likes
make
me.
sure you knew. I thought you were special, but
Yeah,
you're not
yeah,
a
yeah,
chaplain.
I-
Chaplains in the Dark Angels are so revered. They're basically
yeah,
autonomous and do what they want.
Yeah, he sits and stares at that box that he was given at night and just stares at it. That's what he meditates on. Is like one
Okay,
day.
wait till Christmas.
Soon.
That's what it is. But like he tells himself that it's preparing himself to take on the burden, you know. But he's like, I can't wait.
I
Yeah.
was laughing at you three just sitting there talking around the Fallen like for fucking 5 minutes,
Yeah,
10
yeah.
minutes. I was like, who's gonna break first and actually say something? And no one ever says it, but they all kind of like they're like throwing up the Wu-Tangs, but like it's just
But yeah, I had a blast. Thanks everyone for role playing with me, and it was a great time. I'm Scoticus. You can find me on all the places, Scoticus, the old ones and the new. And yeah, I will see you for the next one.
And then, of course, we have the bestest brain damaged boy, Morakan, Otar, and also Goobers, who is not brain damaged.
Otars never die, baby.
Otar's for life.
I love the lore that we started with today that, like, they're crazy, but they're really good.
Yeah.
But there's no way they're going to live that long. 120 years later, they're still kicking. Like,
It's like
There's something there.
they're so... I love the fact that they're so weird for Dark Angels. They're so out there. Like, I mean, Morkiel is manageable, but Morkan is way the fuck out there. He's better at he's like I've started to think of him today as like a lost White Scars. Like he's straight up, because I was thinking, I'm like, what would he be doing while he's fighting? Probably laughing.
Yeah.
Oh shit, he's a White Scar. Like oh. But yeah, like I think it's really good. Like you guys have so much intricacy as far as like the missions and the duty and the understanding your place in this world and stuff, and it can be a lot of like focusing on failure and all that stuff. And then you've got fucking bumblefuck meathead over here just like I like to punch.
he's space Chad. Chad.
But
You know?
Morakan's great at keeping secrets, though, because he's never...
Yeah, because he doesn't remember them in the first place. He doesn't need any sort of that like psychic training or dampening or whatever that shit to keep stuff in there like the Alpha Legion is. He just doesn't retain shit, so he's fine.
I wanted to try and put across without saying that the the veteran scout sergeant trained them and basically went to the chapter master and said, look, you could like indoctrinate them completely and turn them into more specifically soldier warriors. However, they're gonna do more damage as they are. You just might lose them earlier than you want. Like it's a little bit of a gamble, and they were like, fuck it. Like, let's give them big weapons and set them loose and see how long they last.
We don't want to waste the time training them either.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm really excited to see where they go with it, because Morkan is such a meathead, but like there is complexity in there, but just like it's buried. Like he doesn't know about it, but it exists. You know, and like I'm curious to see what's gonna happen to kind of pull that out, like, because essentially, like, if we do end up fighting this Fallen and stuff, and it's just like they're the enemy, why are we not just killing them? What do you mean you want to ask them questions? Fuck the Inquisition, like that's gonna be a whole big thing, because he's like, fuck this guy, you're not a Dark Angel, eat shit, and he's gonna be really upset that he could just shoot him in the head, right?
I also feel like Morakan would be a great guard for a Fallen, because they're going to be like trying to turn him to a cause, and he's like, "You want to fight? Is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah. You want to
fight right now?
Is that it? Shut up. Here.
Shut up.
Marika's
I win again.
Marika's like, all right, I'm gonna punch you in the face, and then I'm gonna punch myself in the face. We'll see who breaks first.
One.
Like, is that all you got? I could do this all day.
It's like Rocky, right? Like you like exhaust yourself beating him in the face, and he's just like,
absolutely.
yeah.
Oh Jesus. Oh.
And
Yeah. Oh, and Goobers 515 everywhere you can find me. Twitch is where I normally stream, and Twitter, and I have a Discord as well. That's my jam.
yes.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, guys. It was awesome today.
It was a blast.
And finally, our bestest sergeant, Sergeant Varric Tykar, and also Peachy.
Hi, it's me, Peachy Pixelate, where you can find me on all the things as Peachy Pixelate. And there's my merch. I like food.
Yes.
I'm a merch. I get paid
It's
in
really
Twinkies.
soft, like legitimately really soft and nice. I'm not even being paid to say that.
You're paying him to say that.
Yes.
Yeah.
This Peachy Pixelate is sponsored by The Wandering Inn.
Yeah. I was I've been thinking about this character for ages, because she's been like, hey, 40k, and it's taken a while to get it going.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be really stoic. I wanted that, because I love that about some Space Marines. Like, all Space Marines have different personalities and stuff.
Yeah.
But I really like that. I've been around a while, and I've got a lot of weight on me, and I can't be like, I can't have a fun time. But I've still got my own sort of like personality. But I was worried it'd just be like, not monosyllabic, but just kind of
One note.
too measured. And then
Yeah.
Goobers come in, and I'm like, oh, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I can do this all day, because if you get bored, don't worry, Morrigan's gonna say something in a minute. And I can't wait. Like, we had a little bit of an interaction when we like everyone was all paraded out and stuff. I'm like, oh, that's gonna be fun, because he doesn't think, oh, we're an idiot. He's just like slightly amused by your enthusiasm, I think.
He's like, oh, what a useful warrior to have in my like Swiss Army knife of warriors I have here.
Well, I mean, that's why he's there. I'd be like, he commented on how many fucking kills he's got.
Yeah.
Like, and then the scout was like, oh, they probably won't last very long. And I'm like, well, they're still kicking. They're still kicking ass.
Well, I mean, 120 years total, probably around about 100-ish years in service. It's not that long.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, for
It's longer than the two other bumblefucks, over there. But
for people who are so have a fight, that's pretty fucking good. So they're
Yeah.
obviously
Yeah.
good at doing that, right?
The Emperor
Or
protects.
extremely lucky. Is it the?
I mean,
The Emperor protects. The Emperor protects. The Emperor protects.
I feel like the only reason they've survived is because they haven't run into something like a bloodthirster yet, which is just insta death basically. Because that the second he sees a bloodthirster, Morrigan is gonna do the full what's his name?
Leroy Jenkins.
Well, no, I was well, yeah, probably that too. But I was thinking the guy who stands on the log in Predator and draws the knife down and challenges it
Oh yeah.
Dutch.
Yeah.
He's just gonna look at it and be like, amateur hour. I got this, bitch.
And then,
finally a challenge.
Yeah.
then with Nafir, because chaplains in the Dark Angels, they don't run the show, but they carry so much weight. So
Yeah.
when one is like, this one is good, you have this one, that's big. That's oh, okay.
Yeah.
But he needs to know that he's not a chaplain yet, and I need my orders followed. But
I think that's good for him, though. That's what he needs, a bit of that, because he is likely to get ahead of himself a bit.
So I don't want to keep you guys too long. So,
Sorry.
Well, no. That's like I'm happy to sit here for another hour chatting about shit. But I you know, you guys are supposed to be here for 3 hours, not 20.
It's Warhammer, baby.
Well, and yeah, like Peachy knows.
And I gotta go back to work.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Peachy knows that I could just chat for years. Well, everyone does at this point, I feel. But yes, I was thinking, what does it say about me, I guess, that towards the end of the episode, I was looking at the clock and being like, if we want to get the action scene in, I'm going to have to start it reasonably soon. And my brain was just like, maybe we could skip the action scene for more character stuff so they can interact a bit. And I'm like, Sheepy, this is 40K. You're not supposed to be like,
yeah, don't do that.
it's like you're not supposed to be like, let's talk more. Like, let's have a conversation. Sit down and have some tea. Have a tea party. Fuck it. So I had to bring in the action scene just purely because, yeah, it's 40K.
You have to do badass Astartes stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there will be at least 5 minutes in the next 6 episodes where you can talk again. I'll try and make that available. But yes, essentially, if you enjoyed the show, let your friends know if they like 40K, especially tell 40K. If you're a 40K person, you know 40K people. We desperately search for each other, so we have someone to talk to about lore. Let people know about the show if you like it and you think they'd enjoy it. Like, subscribe, comment, all those things. I don't believe we had any super chats. I might be crazy.
Oh god, do we have to answer questions real? Oh shit.
No, you're safe. Oh
fuck. Okay. Listen, if you super chat, I will answer those questions, even if that answer is just mind your fucking business, David.
Technically, that's a question. Technically, that's an answer. But if you do enjoy the show, go check out the Patreon. That is where you can support the channel and where you can essentially help fund other shows. I have lots of ideas. I have lots of shows. Some of them are crazy. Coming up in the future, we have a sports anime show that isn't that much anime. It's actually closer to Blood Bowl than... Sorry, I saw Goober's head go, Blood Bowl, you said?
What the fuck?
It's a custom fantasy, like, kind of D&D style fantasy setting. I've made a sport that is full contact and violent and, all that kind of thing. I'm going to run it as a, kind of like an anime, rise to the top from the bottom, think like Haiku or something along those lines. I want to feature with the theme of, like, the underdogs getting better and facing adversity and beating the crap out of their opponents and stuff, So yes, that is upcoming. I also have a few other ideas. We have Dragon Riders Season 3 in the works. We are probably going to have to talk about Aliens Season 2. And we have the QT as well. Season 2 is in next year somewhere. So do go give it a look. Finally, the website is a great place to go and check out the shows. They're all up there. All the cast, you can go find where the cast is and find their Twitches and all that kind of stuff for every show. And with that said, I think we should head off for the evening. So with a massive thank you to my Astartes brothers, we shall retire for the night.
The Emperor.
Which is
the Emperor.
Which is one thing the Astartes never do. Retire.
You just die.
Yeah.
Retiring is dying.
Yep.
So thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed, and see you later.
Bye.
Bye. There's that damn noise.
Killing greenskins. Let's go.
Killing greenskins.